This story I'm gonna talk about actually links onto one of my previous videos, which was to do with the amount of people in the population of the UK here, where I reside myself, who actually have English as their second language, not as you would have thought their first language. I did a reaction video to a Tom Swarbuck story, and he was going through some stats, basically giving us a picture of the current information that's available on how many people in the population speak English, but as a second language. And it was quite, I won't say shocking, but it was definitely food for thought and eye-opening. So I thought to myself, what did I think? Let me conduct a sort of survey, in-person experiment. Now, there's more to this than how it might sound, because there's something else that caught my attention some months ago, pretty much. And this isn't new. There was another claim like the one I'm going to speak about that was mentioned. So basically, what it is, a conservative politician, and one of the UK networks, YouTube news outlets, one of the journalists did a piece on a town. It was I think it was Birmingham, part of Birmingham he visited. I could be mixing this up with a conservative politician. So what they did is they spent some time, well, the claim was the 1 hour or 30 minutes or so the guy spent walking about this town up in the Midlands, Birmingham. He said, well, from his experience, he says he didn't see how can I put it? He didn't see any Caucasian faces. That's a polite way of putting it. He saw only people from ethnic minorities. And the other story that was similar to this one, the claim was the individual spent a certain amount of time walking up and down this particular area, and while he was filming his piece, he said he didn't hear anybody speaking English. Now, this could be true, it could be untrue. I, as a London resident, find it a little bit, slightly unlikely that you're going to spend time in most parts of London and you're not even going to hear one person speaking English. It's a pretty bold and wild claim. So, pinch of salt, I'd say. Anyway, I'm going to reference those said videos later on in this piece, and I might even show you a little clip of the exact videos in question. Excuse me, it's quite a chilly day out here today. If you're in the UK, you know we're in our winter months, which are usually the colder months as far as the year goes. But anyway, not to become sidetracked. So this experiment of mine is going to be similar to the one the conservative politician did and the journalist. I'm in South London now, actually, Croydon, and when I'm on my journey back home, because I am in a different part of South, just up the road from Croydon, when I'm on my journey back home, I'm going to take a minute, I'm going to walk through the area, and we're going to see, I'm going to have the microphone out, and just in a moment, by chance, we're going to see how many English speakers we come across. Not only that, I'm also going to, whatever you see captured in the surrounding areas, in the background or whatever you see in the video frame, will give you an idea, population-wise, of what the mix is like, shall we say, in this particular part of South London. So, bear with me on this one. Hold tight. Keep your ears open. Keep your eyes open. And let's see what these in the moment stats are going to tell us. Let's get it. So I'm going to read out this statement, and it goes a little something like this. Robert Jenrick, a Conservative MP, reportedly made comments in October 2025, current year is 2025, this year, about not seeing white faces and feeling certain areas of the UK resembled India or Pakistan when visiting parts of Birmingham. It was later reported that he may have been in a different part of Birmingham than the one specified. And this goes a little further. There was another point in time where Nigel Farage, leader of Reform UK, Reform Party, has repeatedly claimed over the years that there are streets in towns like Oldham and other parts of the UK where no one speaks English. So not just you don't catch many English speakers as you pass people by in the street. He states that no one speaks English in these parts of Oldham. In 2014, he said he felt awkward in towns where people did not speak English. Fair enough. I mean, that's not it. There's some more. So, here's another one. Farage has made similar comments about the town on previous occasions, including a 2019 speech to an American audience where he claimed entire streets were split along racial lines. Very interesting. And populated by people who had lived in the UK for decades without learning the language. Now, I can't say that's a complete untruth because, yeah, there is instances of entire families where maybe the older members not really felt the need to learn language, and the kids go to school and come home and speak English as their first language and your grandparents' language as their second language. So I can't say that that's a complete untruth. There has been some pushback from local leadership where they had to say local leadership response. Aruj Shah, apologies if I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, the Labour leader of Oldham Council, described the comments as stupid and inaccurate as they are offensive. Local MPs and councillors also dismissed the claims, inviting Farage to visit the town and see for himself that the claims were unfounded. I see. Okay. And this next segment refers to the journalist I mentioned in the lead up and also another Conservative MP. Tom Hunt, then a Conservative MP for Ipswich, claimed in October 2023 that walking into his town centre and hearing people speaking English was almost a rarity. This claim was disputed by official statistics, not surprising, which showed English wasn't the main language for the vast majority of Ipswich residents. That's like a no-brainer. It's common sense, isn't it? Ben Leo, a GB News reporter, visited Mornington Street in Leicester, North Evington. I remember seeing this on YouTube when he did the piece on GB News. North Evington area, where a significant portion of the residents, 43%, speak little to no English and reported not hearing English spoken. Very interesting observations by both politicians and journalists. While we're at it, have a look through my playlists and a video I did about a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, on it was a clip from the Piers Morgan show when he had on the Nigerian foreign minister and some other guests, and they were debating the claim that Donald Trump made about some terrible things happening to Christians en masse. And, he kind of was bringing some alternative views to that kind of a accusation. It's nothing new. It's been made of other nations before. And you'll find it very interesting because there was one of the panelists who coined a very familiar phrase. And it's, if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, it probably is a duck. So anyway, I'm not going to be a spoiler here. I'll let you catch that video and see what you think about it. And let me know what your views are as well. Don't be shy. Drop it in the comments. I'm always interested and curious to know how others see these talking points and subject matters. So let's get back to it.
Learn English before coming to Britain or be forced to take language classes when they arrive, MPs will say today.
Do you remember about 3 or 4 years ago on your show, I talked about a story of getting on a train at Charing Cross,
Yes.
and as it went through a stopper through South London, that I felt uncomfortable because virtually nobody around me until I got past Grove Park spoke English. Do you remember I was condemned. I mean, you know, you would think that I was sort of the new Oswald Mosley for daring to say it. And now we've got Chukaramuna and others saying people must speak English. It just shows you, doesn't it, how much the centre of gravity of British politics.
I can't say I've ever had the same experience or, concerns. Big man like Nigel Farage, powerful politician, I think he's over-egging it or making it up slightly. Maybe he did feel a little bit of fear. That each to their own.
Henrik has stood by comments he made complaining of not seeing another white face in a Birmingham neighbourhood. Let's take a little listen to that secretly recorded audio clip, shall we?
I went to Handsworth in Birmingham the other day to do a video on litter, and it was absolutely appalling. It's as close as I've come to a slum in this country. But the other thing that I noticed there was that it was one of the worst integrated places that I've ever been to. In fact, in the hour and a half that I was filming with news there, I didn't see another white face. And that's not the kind of country I want to live in. I want to live in a country where people are properly integrated. It's not about the colour of your skin or your faith. Of course it isn't. But I want people to be living alongside each other, not parallel lives. That's not the right way we want to live as a country.
He's totally right. He's totally right to say
Henrik,
that.
I say the Shadow Justice Secretary, and his comments recorded, sent to The Guardian, I would have thought, probably by Robert Jenrick, if he has any sense, about walking through Handsworth Ward in Birmingham and saying he'd not seen another white face and criticising the lack of integration. Is this a bid by your Shadow Justice Secretary to appeal to many of those people who would otherwise defect to reform?
So I agreed with everything Robert said. I listened to the full statement that he made on that recording, and frankly, if you listen to the whole thing, it's perfectly reasonable.
I agree with every word he said as well.
Immigration, I thought you would. The fact is, immigration only works if those who are coming to this country integrate into our society, become British and accept our laws, our values and our customs and traditions. If you don't do that, and if you live in almost ghettos, I think that's very divisive, and I don't think that's the way we do things in Britain. So what Robert has highlighted is what the vast majority of people
Take up a short moment of your time. I want to just talk about small debts. They do everything from chasing up unpaid bills and invoices. If you have a payment that's due to you that's being delayed for any reason, they can follow it up, find out what's behind it and get that money repatriated to you. Generally, they do a whole list of administrative, financial related tasks that they can take on for you and lighten your load. So check them out. Their information will also be in the description.
Need an accounts team without the hiring costs. Small Debts provides full service invoicing and credit control, managing everything from invoice submission to reminders and follow-ups. We can send emails from your domain or ours. Let Small Debts keep the cash flow rolling whilst you focus on growing the business.
Debts.co.uk, today's video sponsors. So look them up. If you need their assistance, their information will be found in the description.
Jenrick is absolutely right. You know, there are parts of England where we've had stories over the last 10, 15 years where there are pupils in primary schools who think that Britain is predominantly an Asian country because that's all they see. We know that Muslims who live in segregated communities are about twice as likely to say that they have sympathy for terrorist attacks. Ed Hussein wrote a book called Among the Mosques, where he spoke about literal no-go zones where white men are not welcome to come into those areas. We know that the police in this country often have to ask community leaders for permission to enter some of these ethnic silos. This country is fast becoming not a United Kingdom, but a United Nations. We have areas of this country who are essentially becoming Muslim settlements. They're being settled by Muslim clans who all come from the same regions of, say, northern Pakistan, and they're trying to import here there their own politics with their own Sharia courts and their own territorial ways. They have their own satellite TV channels. They don't watch any British content. They live parallel lives, completely separate from the rest of the country. We know that Muslim women have terrible rates of knowing the English language. We can't have that society. We may be a multiracial society, but we're not an integrated society. That's what Jennifer's pointing out. And it's about time more of us were able to speak about these things openly, rather than being accused racist, when surely it's in the interest of everybody that we have a society that works together. Because all of the sociological evidence and the economic evidence shows that the increased segregation you have in the community, the lower the social trust is. And the more communities deteriorate, the more neighborhoods deteriorate, the higher the crime rates go. It's bad for everybody.
Couldn't agree with you more, mate. My God, you are.
If you're new to this channel, hit the bell icon, tap subscribe for more future information. Let's get it again.
The main topic of conversation is now not just who is the most credible to carry out mass deportations of illegal immigrants and uphold the law and move criminal foreign nationals from our country, but it's also how do we encourage lots of people who have not joined our national tribe, who have not fostered good relationships with us, who will not reproduce our civilization. How do we encourage those people to leave our country, go back to their own countries, hopefully build those up, we can check on them in a few hundred years, but leave us in peace and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Now, that sure is a mouthful of food for thought. That is a question you have to drop an opinion on in the comments. And you know what? There's still more to come. This is where we do our experiment, our in-person test in the moment survey on how many languages you get to hear. And also non-brown faces you spot as we walk through this part of southwest London.
So, here we are in Croydon Market, West Croydon, an area that I haven't really passed through for some time, and it's pretty late in the day, so most of the stores are shutting down or have shut down. But I think it's a good kind of a place to take a general sort of consensus. You can hear some traditional African folk music in the background there, just a little further up. And yeah, it's a pretty cosmopolitan, multicultural area where you'll find all types of language speakers and the inhabitants gathering. Oh, before I go any further, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, hit that bell icon for more information and future videos. So let's get back with it. Strolling here, we call Croydon Market in the west of Croydon. Now bear with me, it's a bit sparse at this time of the day, but that's gonna change. So I'll pause for a second so you can kind of like see what you can hear in the background. Well, I can hear a few practical sounds. Oh, we have some language. Sounds like English to me. It's probably our first example. Right, this area is good, as a matter of fact, for something like this, because you're going to find a cross-section of everybody. When I say everybody, I mean mixed cultures, mixed ages. Adults on the way back from work, kids on the way back from school, people heading home, people out shopping. It's just a good cross-section of what you'll find in a South London, or as it may be, London community. So every now and again I'm going to pause just so we can see what kind of sounds we're going to hear. You see, I suspect that the claims that were made and the examples of areas, these areas were probably highly populated by a particular culture. Now, granted, that was mentioned in the videos, but I think there's a slight bias there, because you're always going to find areas where you're going to find more of one culture than another, because people tend to, particularly when they emigrate or first arrive in the country, they tend to go where people there, familiar with, people of similar tribe, just to ease the acclimatization, I guess, when you move to a new country. I would do the same if I went to France or the US or anywhere else. Yeah, so let's see what we've got here.
Hello? A light on my phone.
Right, so far, I mean, that was a kid crying. I can hear mostly English, even accent-wise. Accents, that's going to vary up and down the country. But even in London, because we've got such a wide range in the mix, you hear all forms of accents. Not only the traditional South London type of accent. I mean, we're in a time, an era, you've got the Gen Zs, millennials, and those who've grown up in the typical type of public schools. They're going to be coming up in a very mixed community, and the youngsters tend to create their own blend of dialect, their version of the English language. You got the Urban Dictionary now. That, to me, I don't think that's about first or second languages. That's about development and language evolution, which is always taking place. Particularly with a language as old and developed as the English language, which I do believe is the first or second most commonly spoken language on the planet. I think maybe Spanish comes a close second, not too sure. I'll have to look that up and get back to you on that count. Right, yes. Let's see what we can hear now. Okay, I could have probably picked a different time of the week, like a Saturday, where you got more people out in the afternoon or mornings, but this would be good enough for what it is we're trying to do. And as you see, it's a cross-section of skin tones, shape, sizes, the variety you find in all types of Western populations. It's actually quite quiet. I'm surprised this time of the day. I thought it'd be a little bit more noisy, but we are on the pedestrianised part of the strip. When we get to West Croydon, it's going to be, as in by just past the bus garage and train station, it'll be a little bit more busy and noisy. So hang in there and watch the demographics change, if at all. So I'm being quiet here intentionally, so you can hear the surroundings and the dialects, if you can pick up anything outside of English. Just to recap, the claim that was made by the Conservative politician and the journalist was it's parts of the country and London where you can walk for an hour or so, or less, and you'll barely hear an English word spoken. And in some cases, so they claim, so they say, you'll barely spot a, I was going to say, what's the word? Indigenous. That's a little bit tricky one when you're on this subject of race, tribe and immigration, because, you know, the indigenous population of this country, the UK, it's depends how far back you go. Once upon a time, a little historical insight, before England was England or Great Britain was Great Britain, as far as I can recall, it was made up of 7 principalities or nation states within the one island, 7 kings, and it took some time and many wars for that to change. as far as I can recall, there was one point in time where the Danes, they were ruling England. There was England owned part of France at one point, so there was French-speaking British people. So this language thing, and you have the Welsh, Scottish and Irish, so this language thing is really, when it comes to indigenous populations, it hasn't always been the language we now hear spoken. Even in this particular area, if you go back 100 or so years, I'm sure you won't be hearing people talking like I am right now. So yes, listen up. Let's see what we hear. Right, I'm hearing some variations and varieties at the moment. It's probably the best place to start comparing things from, because we're in a more populated part of the area. Okay, I'm not going to go too far because it's a pretty long distance from here till the next surrounding area, which is Fortney or Norbury, as a matter of fact. I'm not going to stroll that far, but as far as this initial part of West Croydon,
speaking image of you.
right, yeah, so this is one of the really popular shopping strips where people come to buy their food. Find a lot of nationalities, probably Middle Eastern, Arabic, Moroccan, Indian, people from Pakistan, and all over the globe. Africans, of course, Caribbeans, first, second, third generation, and more. But to my knowledge, at least in this part of town, most people speak English. Be it their second language, mostly first, I'm guessing. Oh, while we're at it, just give you a quick ho ho ho, and in advance, enjoy your Christmas when it arrives, if you celebrate it, which has been another controversial topic that has been in the news occasionally, probably again at this time of the year, is the argument and debate about, do we still celebrate Christmas, being essentially a Christian, Catholic, Protestant country, at least as far as the origins go. There's been some debates and discussions and complaints where some traditions have been postponed or cancelled or boycotted just to not offend one part of the population or the other. But not to get sidetracked, we're still on the language subject. I just thought I will mention that while we're at it. Okay, give this a little moment longer, and then you can reach your own conclusion, and let me know, please do, in the comments what you think. It wasn't as much noise and sound as I would have hoped for, but there's some variation on the theme. So it's gonna take it a little bit further before I wrap up here. See what you hear. It's mostly traffic. That's what I'm hearing at the moment. Anyway, as we come to a close, gradually come to a close, probably think I'll do next time is walk with a very powerful multi-directional microphone, condenser mic, or something that can pick up sounds from a distance. So I'm going to stop talking now for this last part, just to give you a chance to catch some of the tones and languages, variations on this brief journey through Croydon, South London. Well, I could tell you a bit about the landscape and the history of the area. I don't really want to bore you or get too distracted from the theme. Okay, what can we hear there? Sounds like English. Besides the sound of the traffic, that is. I'll tell you what you can see though. You can see a wide variation of shops providing produce for people from a huge variety of nations. So yes, that is true. This is a very multicultural, culturally mixed part of London. But that doesn't really have too much impact on the languages people speak, what they eat, or shop, where they shop at. It gives you some clues, but it doesn't give you the full story. So I might even take the time when I run this video back and do a little quick count, see if I can count more than 2. Nah, the bar's set too low on that. 3 different languages in what, 10-15 minutes we've been strolling. I don't think I've heard, probably I've heard about 4 different languages in this short period of time spoken on the streets here in the area. Definitely don't want to get knocked over across the road. Fun fact, when we were small growing up here, 70s, probably early 80s, at school they had a campaign they called the Highway Code, and it was to teach toddlers how to safely cross the road. And yeah, you had a cartoon character and other characters that was ingrained in our psyches. Definitely taught me how to look left, look right, and look out for the green man before charging into the road. I'm sure they have a similar thing now for this generation of youngsters. Probably online. We had to watch TV in my era. Showing my age, no problem with that. Yeah. Right, this is where our little walk, stroll, survey, in the moment, language, cultural road test comes to a close, because I need to jump on my bus now and head back to my part of town, my particular manor. So for now, thank you for spending some time once again with myself, Only Radio, here at Corner Speak, this time on the road, street movements. Catch the next video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done that. Like the video, we want to hear your comments. So be good, be safe, be creative. For now, I'm out.